Hey guys, and welcome back. Good afternoon, and today I bring very big news to the channel. So long story short, a lot of information has came out surrounding Bruno this morning, including Bruno himself coming out and indicating when he's going to return to the pitch, and it's huge for this football club. We'll get to that in just a moment, but anyway, hello there. We are coming in the back of a 1-0 win over Fulham. Big 3 points in the end for Newcastle. I thought we dominated the game, but ultimately the last 10 minutes, we got a bit lucky. What are the chances that Mitrovic takes a pen and he takes an illegal second touch before score? I've never seen that before, but got away with one there. But at the same time, was it really a pen? I actually thought the Dan Burn incident before Trippier's incident was more the pen than the pen itself. So that was my honest opinion on it. But still though, I think we got away with one. Good 3 points, deserved to win the game, but we've got to make sure we are more clinical going forward, because in another day, we could have lost that. But anyway, guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button as well. Just regarding the 2 Southampton games, I've got tickets for both of the matches, so I can't wait to be at both the semi-final games in the next week or so. So excited for that. But yeah, I just sorted out both the tickets, so be ready for all the vlogs on the channel regarding that. And finally, if you like what you see, make sure you get down there and smash the like button. Without further ado, let's get into all the news now. First off, and let's just get straight into it, Bruno has came out this morning and spoke with the fans since his injury on Saturday. So just a reminder of his injury on Saturday looked very serious. He clearly rolled over his ankle during the game. Newcastle physio decided to keep him on. Obviously, Bruno would have told the physio, I can continue playing, keep me on. And it looks like during the game, he agitates it more and he comes off the pitch at half-time crying. So a massive doubt for Newcastle. I think when I first saw that injury, I thought to myself, he's definitely going to miss the 2 Southampton semi-final games. But Bruno has came out this morning speaking to fans saying that faith moves mountains, I'll be back faster than ever, which at first sounds very, very good. Coming from the player himself, he believes he's going to be back very soon. But Keith Downey has also came out and added a bit more to that, saying that he believes that he'll be getting access to, on a daily basis, ready to return for Southampton away. He's actually expected to be back for the Southampton games. I mean, what? Our key player back for the semi-final games, biggest games in 20 years, and it looks like Bruno is definitely going to be back for at least the second one. Now, it still seems like at the case, it's going to be one of them ones we're going to have to look it over. Might not rush him back for the first game, but it really does look like that second game, 1 week later. Bear in mind this while we are out of the FA Cup, so we don't play at the weekend. It honestly looks like he's going to be back for the second Carabao Cup game at St James's Park. I mean, huge player to get back. I can't wait to see him back. I think especially against Southampton in that second leg, game changer. He's exactly the sort of player you need in that match. So yeah, I want to give out the huge news there. He's actually expected to be back for the Carabao Cup games. Maybe not the first one, but definitely for the second one. So get in there. I am so happy about that one. And while we're still on the topic for the Carabao Cup, I want to quickly speak about the final, because I've had so many messages from people asking me how the ticket structure is going to work for the game. Now, honestly, I don't know. I'm going to give you my prediction, but one thing I want to say straight away is that we can't afford to be cocky like this. We have not beat Southampton at all. This is the team that, yes, beat Manchester City's B team, but still ultimately comfortably won against Man City when they weren't expected to do so. I know over 2 legs, Newcastle are the favourites. We are expected to get to the final, but listen, we are acting like a team that gets to cup finals every season. We do not do that. We haven't got to a cup final in my lifetime. We can't afford to come out and just expect to get to a final, because we haven't got there yet. I think we are far too cocky for my liking at the minute. We have not got past Southampton. We haven't even played them yet, so it's very important to stay level-headed. We have not made it to the final yet. Yes, I've already booked my trains, hotels, but I've got 3 cancellation. I'm still not expecting us to get there. If we don't get there, obviously I'm going to cancel them. But I'm telling you now, we are far too cocky for my liking. But anyway, though, back on the topic to the tickets itself, if we get to the final, I believe the ticket structure is going to work on loyalty points first. So obviously loyalty points, if you go to one away match, you get 1 loyalty point. So all the fans that have stacked them up over the years, I think will go first. Then afterwards, regarding the season tickets, so Newcastle are expected to have around 34,000 seats. Season ticket wise, I think they have around about 40,000. So no matter what, some people are going to miss out. So I believe the club has to divide the tickets up. And the way I think they're going to do that is by saying, if you have a longer season ticket, so for example, if you've had a season ticket for over 10 years, I think you get priority over someone who's had a season ticket for around 2 seasons or so. So for example, if you're a fan that's just bought a season ticket after the takeover, I don't think you get access to tickets over someone who's been there 10 plus years. I think that's how they're going to sort it out, in my honest opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's probably the fairest way I can say possible. If you had a longer season ticket than somebody else, it's more justified to get a ticket. But I think no matter what, people are going to miss out. So it's very hard for the club to deal with. But that's my honest opinion, how I believe the ticket structure would work if Newcastle get to the final. Now it's time to get into some transfer news now. So let's begin off by talking about outgoing players, players that could leave the club in this window. I've said this in the past, but I fully expect Ryan Fraser leaving this window. If an offer comes available for the player, I think the club will get rid of him. He's one of them ones where he's not getting game time. What is his role at the club? He's not providing anything. He's one of them ones where if he's not playing, you need to cut him loose, really. So I think Ryan Fraser, if they can sell him, I expect him to go in this window. Now, some quite interesting news from Keith Downey on Give Me Sport. He was talking about Alan St. Maximin, and he was saying that there's a possibility that the club might actually let him go in the window. Now, personally for me, if the club was to sell St. Maximin, I would expect it to be in the summertime. I don't think they would do it in the January window. I mean, you see him against Fulham. He came off the bench against Fulham and he was a game changer. I thought St. Maximin and Isaac, both of them off the bench, looked brilliant. So I think it's in the club's best interest to at least keep them to the end of the season because, well, we're getting longer of the way into the window now. If we were going to sell him then replace him with somebody else, we would do that towards the start of the window. I think doing it now would be a bit short-sighted, and then unless they've got a real plan in mind of who they want to bring in, I don't think it's a good move for the club. So regarding St. Maximin, I know Keith Downey said that and Give Me Sport, but I honestly don't think it's going to happen. I think St. Maximin will stay until at least the end of the season. I don't think the Football Insider is the most credible source out there, but I've seen a lot of Newcastle fans interact with the post, so I thought I'd put it on the screen anyway. I'll let you guys make your own assumptions out with it. But as I always say in these videos, take everything you say with a pinch of salt. But the Football Insider is claiming that Nottingham Forest is attempting to buy Chris Wood from us. So, first off, if it's true, do I think Newcastle should sell Chris Wood to Nottingham Forest? To be honest, if the offer's good, then yes, I think it probably is the best move of the club now. I've always looked at Chris Wood as being a short-term player at the club. We bought him for two main reasons from Burnley now. The first one being is that we had zero strikers at the club. Callum Wilson was injured. We had nobody else to play against Watford at home. We needed somebody to come in as a striker to keep the ship steady. We needed somebody to come in straight away. 25 million release clause. It was a bit of a no-brainer at the time. The second reason as well, Newcastle were 19th at the time, Burnley were 18th or 17th. They are more or less next to us on the table. It was in our best interest to try and damage their club by benefiting us as well. So to take their striker off them, put them in a bad situation because obviously they weren't expecting anyone to release, but activate his release clause. We've done that, we've put them under a lot of pressure. And whether you believe it worked or not, Burnley did get relegated at the end of the season. So in hindsight, it did benefit Newcastle. Now, Chris Wood isn't the worst striker I've ever seen at the club, but I mean, he's not great, is he? He's not somebody you're going to expect to be a long-term player at the club. Obviously, he's missed the past couple. I mean, especially when against Sheffield Wednesday. How is he not put that in target? I could have put that in target. He's just frustrating to watch. And I think in the long term, you need strikers in that can take chances. He doesn't seem to be a player that can take the chances when it comes to him. Brilliant penalty taker. He's not the worst player I've ever seen, but really, though, for a team like Newcastle that is expected to be playing European football next season, he's just not going to cut it, in my opinion. On to potential players that could come into the football club now. I've got to be honest, there's still not much coming out lately. It's almost a case for me, as I've seen journalists come out with just putting names down for the sake of putting names down. That's like me, for example, going, you know what, Zaha, Depay, let's make a video about those two. I think those two could join Newcastle. Let's just put some articles out about them. It's almost like you're just picking players for the sake of picking players. There's not much logic to many of them. But I've always said in the past, though, Ivan Freshetta, the right back from La Liga, he's the most credible one I've seen so far because Newcastle had interest in him now. Keith Downey's came out this morning and said that the agent of the player has been down in London speaking to our clubs as well. There seems to be quite a lot of clubs interested in the player now. Ivan has got a release clause in his contract. I believe it's around £10 million. So if Newcastle really wanted to buy the player, and you've seen all these other clubs having interest as well, somebody can activate that release clause. But it looks like there's a lot of clubs interested, but nobody wanted to pull the trigger on him. So yeah, the competition for him seems to be quite fierce now. So if Newcastle wants the player, they're going to act quickly. If not, he's going to go elsewhere. Speaking about our players, there's been quite a lot of our ones that came out as well. Milinkovic-Savic, obviously, there's been quite a lot of speculation surrounding him. So it's been Newcastle fans essentially playing spotters that have been kind of joining the dots together, saying, well, there's been a plane next to Lazio's training ground. We've got talks with Newcastle. They're just kind of joining the dots together, but no journalists have actually came out and sort of validate the claims. So it's one of them ones where you can't believe it, you want to, but for me, even if there's anything to that, it's an extremely early stages, so it doesn't seem to be anything to it. Now, Luke Edwards has came out as well as said that Newcastle could be interested in the Chelsea trio, with two of them being Gallagher and Ziyech. Now, I actually think Ziyech is a really good player. Gallagher's had a bit of a stinky season, to be honest, but again, with Chelsea, I just can't see why Chelsea would give us players. I mean, think about it in Chelsea's point of view. We're above them in the table. We're 10 points clear of Chelsea, by the way. I mean, if Chelsea give us their players, it's just going to benefit us even more and put them in that bigger hole. Now, at the same time, though, Chelsea have just spent £150 million on team players, and they would need to offload in order to fit those players in there. So, at the same time, maybe they might let one or two of the players go, but again, I just don't see much logic to it, to be honest. I really don't believe in any of the claims at the minute. Maybe over time it might convince me otherwise, but at this current time, I just can't really see that happening. I think the midfielder option would have been the most logical one for Newcastle, especially if Bruno's injury was long term, but now because of what we've said in the intro, we know it's short term, so it puts Newcastle back to the situation we were last week, where we weren't making any moves and we didn't seem to be that keen in going after anyone. If Newcastle want to sign someone, they're only going to do it if they believe it's a good move. They're not going to go out of their way to get a position, and they're only going to make that move if that player is key for the club. So, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, to be honest. I can't see much logic to it. It's one of them ones where you got to take it with a pinch of salt. For now, I don't see anything to it. I might come back out in a day or two with new news where it could suggest that Newcastle go elsewhere and attempt to buy a player. But at this moment in time, it just seems to be very quiet, or everything behind the scenes. Doesn't seem to be anything actually coming out on social media. So I thought I'd give you my thoughts on that. I fun. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. Big news surrounding Bruno, though. Huge ones there. But anyway, guys, take care. Let me know your thoughts down below on everything you've seen in this video, and I will see you all in the next one.